What's up YouTube, it's TF Collector, and today I'll be reviewing the Transformers Studio Series 86 Voyager class Constructicon Scrapper, the first figure of these new Constructicons by the Studio Series, and we will go ahead and take a look at the packaging that Scrapper does come in. So you can see on the front picture of Scrapper in robot and vehicle mode, Transformers Studio Series, Transformers the movie, Constructicon Scrapper, Hasbro. Over here, transforms in 17 steps, ages 8 and up, more than meets the eye. On this side, you have a nice picture of Devastator, one of 5, even though I'm pretty sure there's 6, if I'm not mistaken. Collect to combine Transformers Studio Series, Transformers the movie. On this side, you have the rest of that picture there. Autobot logo, Transformers Studio Series, Voyager class in all the languages of the world. Not hardly, but you get the point. Over here, you have a nice screen capture of Devastator slinging around some Dinobots, the Transformers the movie. Constructicon Scrapper. Scrapper is the engineer and designer for the Constructicons. He combines with other Constructicons to form Devastator. And on the back, you have your nice pictures there of Scrapper, and he is one of, I'm pretty sure 6, but it says 5. Once again, more than meets the eye, Hasbro on the bottom, of our code on the top. The Transformers the movie, Constructicon Scrapper, Takara Tomy. And before we take a look at Scrapper himself, he does of course include his instruction manual here. You have a nice picture of the figure, 8 and up, Transformers Studio Series from Transformers the movie, Constructicon Scrapper, Takara, and Hasbro, and lots of other words. And with all that being said, here is Scrapper in his bulldozing mode. And he looks pretty good here in vehicle mode. Not a lot of paint, but that is actually accurate to what we see in the cartoon and the movie. So can't complain too much about that. But with that being said, we'll just take a closer look. You can see mostly done in this neonish green. Some nice details there all throughout. Looks pretty good. Nice silver for the wheels, and they're pinned on, so that's very nice. Little ladder molded in there. Some purple windows going on up in there. Not a lot to talk about. Some more detail here on the back. On the back side, just a little bit of detail there. The size the same as the other. There is the bottom. You can see his chest, his feet. You can pretty much see how everything's going to form around. There is the top, and he does, of course, roll along nice and smoothly. And you can articulate this front side of Scrapper. You can see it's on 2 different hinges, so you can hinge this piece up and down. You can untab it and hinge it all around. Really just up to you. I personally just leave it like this, but if you want to play around with it, you can have him picking up some dirt or whatever you want to have Scrapper doing. So that is a pretty cool option. And accessory-wise, Scrapper does come with one for himself and one for the big boy. First of all, the one for himself, here it is. You have a nice little blaster there, done in a dark gray plastic, just molded pretty nicely, doesn't look bad. And the other one he comes with is the gun for the big boy Devastator, done in the purple, and you just combine these 2 pieces. Right down the middle, you can see there's a little groove for that notch to go into, so just combine those, and there you have the gun of Devastator, and you can see just detailed nicely. We'll take a closer look at this when we get all the figures and do a Devastator review, but just nice to note that that is included with Scrapper. Now, as far as weapon storage goes, you do have 2 options. The first option is to throw this off to the side and just store his blaster here, and basically you see a little notch there for that tab there, and that will just tab in right there, right on top. So you do have that option of storage. You can see how that looks. Your other option, we'll have to remove this for a second, is to bring in the big gun, and it can store. You just split it back in half, and you can see that little tab there will go into that notch there. Now the instructions point to this one, but I cannot get it to go into this one for some reason. I find that this one actually works, so tab it into that one, and then you bring in this piece, and basically you see there is a little slot there that will tab right in there. So just tab that in so you can have that nice and stored there on the side. And then if you want to bring in the other gun, you can just use the handle and plug it into this port over here on the other side, and you can have all his guns nice and stored. And for a quick comparison, here is Scrapper with Scrapper. This is the Combiner Wars version from many years ago. One of the first Transformers I ever remember getting, even though there were lots before it. It was one of the first ones I can actually remember, but you can see how these scale up together. You can see this one obviously much smaller. It is more accurate. I like the coloring on this one better. I think they did a better job here where the operator actually sits as far as accuracy goes, but you can see how the two scale, and clearly the new Devastator is going to be a little smaller from the looks of it, but I do think it will be more accurate to what we see in the show and the movie. And with that being said, there are no combine mode instructions included with Scrapper. I assume they will come with a figure later down the line, and I'm not going to guess, so basically we're just going to do the robot transformation now, and there will be a later video for all the Devastator transformations and putting Devastator together, I assume probably towards the end of this year. But with that being said, let's go ahead and transform Scrapper into his robot mode. So the first thing I like to do is come under here and just untab these pieces and bring them down. Then what I like to do is just grab the front of the foot and bring it down. It is tabbed into the back here, so you might have to get your nail in there. Just bring that section down. You can see they do tab back in there, and then you take this whole section and just rotate it back, and these two slots will go into these two tabs. So you can just go ahead and form his legs. So you just snap those two sides together like so. Now what we can do is we can go ahead and bring this up and out of the way and rotate this piece 180 degrees like so. And what we can do is come here to the arms. They are tabbed in right here. So just untab those on each side, and then you can bring the arms out like so. Bring the arm out on the other side like so. Come here and you can bring the chest down, bring the head up. Come on, head, get up, and bring that back up. You can then straighten out the elbows and bring down the fist. Do the same thing on the other side. Straighten down the elbow, bring down the fist. Then you want to split the legs, and they are in a T-tab, so you just want to slide this leg forward like so. You want to make sure you don't break that T-tab off there, so just slide the leg with the tab back. And to finish the look off, we're going to come back here and just hinge this piece down and hinge this piece back up against the back like so. And with all that said and done, here is Scrapper after a very, very simple transformation in his robot mode. And after an extremely simple transformation, I am pretty happy with what we got here with Scrapper. I think he looks pretty good here in robot mode. But taking a look at his head sculpt, you can see it is done in black with silver on the mouth plate, and up here on the forehead, red for the eyes. The chest, you get a nice Decepticon logo there, some more silver throughout and some red with some black details. Purple plastic used all throughout with some nice molded details. The green with some nice molded details there on the arms and down the legs. Some more nice silver used for the thighs. Nice details there on the feet, the wheels just hanging out on the side and on the shoulders. Backpack-wise, I mean, it's there, but it's accurate, so can't really complain about it. Same thing with the paint. I mean, there's not a whole lot of it on the arms and legs, but can't complain about it. It's what you see in the movie and in the cartoon, so it's pretty accurate. So overall, I think the robot mode here for Scrapper turned out pretty well. And articulation-wise with Scrapper, the head's on a ball joint, so you can look up slightly, down slightly, and it can rotate a full 360. The arms can move back and forth due to transformation, and they can also rotate all the way around. They can move out way up there. You do have a bicep swivel there. You do have a elbow bend there to about 90. You can also break his elbow to 90 due to transformation. If you want, due to transformation, the wrists can move in and out. Nothing at the waist, even though it seems like there should be, but there's not. The legs can kick forward only that far, not a whole lot of movement there. Backwards, they can get a little further, but still not a lot of movement there. Outwards, though, you get a full split. You do have some nice thigh rotation. You do have knee bend to 90 degrees. Due to transformation, the feet can move up and down, and they can also pivot. So overall, articulation is a little hindered, especially in the hips, but he does move pretty well. And bringing in the accessories. Now, the instructions don't speak of any way to store any of the accessories on the robot mode, but you can have him holding all of them. You can split this in half, and you can use these two posts and plug them into his hands, or you can leave it tabbed together and have him holding a massive gun. But me personally, I'm going to save this for Devastator, so I'm just going to put that off to the side for now, and you can have him holding his little baby blaster. So we'll just plug that right into his hand, and you can see that does fit nicely, and there is Scrapper all armed up. And for a quick comparison again here is Scrapper once again with Scrapper, big old Combiner Wars Scrapper. And as far as movie / cartoon accuracy and looks wise, I do prefer the new one overall. I also think the new one is just overall a better figure, but I do have a soft spot for the more toy feel of this original Combiner Wars one, probably because I had it as a little kid and still have it today. But this one does take a lot of cues from this one, especially in the transformation, so that's something that relates between the two of them, and of course their looks also relate. But overall, I do prefer the new version, and can't wait to see how the rest of the Constructicons compare against these older Combiner Wars versions. And also, I've made this a tradition, so I'll do it again here. Here is a picture of Scrapper from G1, so you can see just how close they got Scrapper to his G1 model. And yeah, that's about it comparison-wise for Scrapper. So that is my review for the Transformers Studio Series 86 Voyager class Constructicon Scrapper, and overall I am very pleased with the way this figure came out. I think it looks good in robot mode, good in vehicle mode, looks very accurate to what you see in the cartoon. The transformation, while super simple, I think I did it in like 2 minutes here in the video, which is unheard of, because I try to pay attention to the details, but it is a very simple transformation. I was able to get it done very quickly, and I have done it multiple times, and I do get back and forth very fast each time because it is just that simple of a transformation. Now, this guy does have me really excited for the future Constructicon entries. Speaking of, I do have Bone Crusher. I apologize for the lack of content here in the last week and a half or so. I went to WrestleMania, which was really awesome. Had a great time in Vegas, and also I've had multiple college exams, which isn't quite as fun as WrestleMania, but I do have Bone Crusher, so we'll take a look at him here soon on the channel. So that is my review for Transformers Studio Series 86 Scrapper. Can't wait for the rest of the Constructicons. If I had to rate Scrapper on a scale of 1 to 10, I think he deserves a solid 8.5 out of 10. Nothing really to complain about here, just not my favorite figure ever, but I do think he does a really good job of capturing the character and has me very excited for Devastator. So that is the review for Scrapper. Don't forget to never sacrifice the things you love for the approval of others. I'll see you guys soon with Bone Crusher. Until then, roll out. Peace.